Hello and welcome to Elements of Ayurveda, Empowering Wisdom of Life. I'm your host, Colette, and in this podcast, I hope to empower you to take charge of your own health by sharing the holistic teachings of Ayurveda, the ancient healing tradition from India. We will also discuss topics like health and wellness, nutrition, yoga, fitness, meditation, breath work, and much more, as well as interviewing lots of inspiring people along the way. My humble wish is to help you to connect to your true nature, to Mother Nature, and to each other. If you like the content, be sure to subscribe to the show, and the new episodes will automatically download for you to enjoy. If you're new to Ayurveda, I recommend you check out the first couple of episodes where I do an introduction to Ayurveda along with the history and philosophy, and I also give an introduction to the three doshas or mind-body types of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And now, here's the show. Hi everyone, it's January 2018 and it's the first episode of this year, so Happy New Year to you. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season. And I look forward to bringing you lots of information on your health and well-being in 2018. And this is what we're going to start with this episode today. I want to discuss how we can start out on a really great note in January. And of course, this is the time of year where we're making a lot of goals for the year or intentions or however you like to call them. But I definitely want to talk about our health and wellness today. I want to talk about cleansing and I want to talk about exercise because this time of year is a time when we're thinking about getting into an exercise routine, especially after the holidays where we feel sluggish. And it's really important what type of exercise regime you choose. Each dosha should choose a different type of exercise regime. It's really important because, as we know, there's no one size fits all. So I'm going to get into that in the show today. Now, I will also be giving away a free download with this episode today, detailing all the recommendations that I make for each dosha, along with the top 10 digestive tips from Ayurveda. So don't worry about taking notes, just enjoy and listen, and then you can go to the show notes and check out that free download. But to start, I want to talk about cleansing and why it's important. And I've done a show previously on seasonal cleansing, but today I want to talk about cleansing at this time of the year, post-holidays, when we're feeling maybe a little sluggish, a little foggy-headed. We've come out of the holiday season where we've been eating richer foods, out of our routine, eating at different hours. And this can leave us feeling just sluggish. Our digestion may be sluggish and just not in full health. Now, Ayurveda defines health as the state where every aspect of our being is working properly and in harmony with all other aspects. So that means that our digestive fire is working well, that our three doshas of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha are in balance, and we know now that each of us has a different ratio of those doshas in our constitution, that we're eliminating well, and that our mind, our senses, and our consciousness are in a pleasant state and working harmoniously together. Now, when the balance of any of these systems is disturbed, that's when illness can take hold. And at this time of year, we often see people getting sick with sinus problems or allergies or congestion, colds, flus. I know there's a big flu going around right now, so this can be as a result of a poorly working digestive system. And basically what happens is when we have what we call weak agni, and agni is our digestive fire, this causes improper digestion and produces toxins, or what Ayurveda likes to call ama. Now, ama is basically the generic name for toxins, and ama is a result of poor digestion. And this ama is like a white, sticky, putrid smelling substance, which is caused by undigested waste that can't be used by the body. And basically it becomes something that clogs up the channels of the body. Now, if not regularly cleared or eliminated, it can become a big problem and can be the root cause of all disease in the body, physically and mentally. So basically what happens is this ama or this plaque can lay down on the channels of the body and cause the physical blockage of channels, cause lots of problems throughout the body, and also mentally it can prevent us from feeling clarity in our mind. Now, some of the factors that cause poor digestion are improper food combinations or improper choices for your particular constitution, pollution, pesticides, emotional or physical stress, or trauma. So there are many ways that our digestion can be affected. And what happens is with this undigested food, which then results in ama or toxins being accumulated, they can spread throughout the body and eventually deposit themselves into deeper tissues and organs or channels and create dysfunction. So that's why it's so important to do regular cleansing. And as you know, I do group online cleanses at the change of the seasons, which is another part of the year where it's really important to cleanse. And I usually do one at the transition from spring to summer, and then some from summer to fall. But I feel at this time of the year, it's really important to do a cleanse also, to give our digestive system a break from the onslaught of food and drinks that we had over the holidays. Now, some signs of ama, some signs of toxins in the body, and again, it's very different for everybody, but it could be, one of the big signs is a foggy head, just not feeling clear, feeling lethargic, maybe a lack of appetite, particularly in the morning, delayed digestion, feeling sluggish, feeling heavy, sluggish bowels, so you're maybe not eliminating daily, feeling like your nausea as well can be a sign of ama, and sometimes having a fever or a big thick coating on the tongue. These are all signs of having ama. Also foul smelling stool, or just feeling like you're just not 100%, feeling like something just isn't working right. You can feel bloated, maybe excessive gas. Like I said, irregular bowel movements, maybe it's constipation, or it could be on the other end of the scale. It could be loose or possible diarrhea. And that heaviness just really continues to hang in there and you can't seem to shift it. And of course, if you're getting sick, that's a real sign that there's toxins in the body. So this is a great time to give your body some really simple foods, giving it easy digestible foods, things like soups and stews, food that's already digested, staying away from the salads this time of the year. It's not the time of the year for salads, for raw food, because the environment right now, this cool or weather of January, is not supportive of that. And it's Vata season, so raw food is not great for Vata season. When the digestive fire is weak, it doesn't have the strength to cook and digest that food. So what we do recommend is really eating simple, easy, digestible foods and making sure that you're having your lemon water every morning. That will hydrate, it will help with elimination, and it will also alkalize the body. And if you find that your digestion is really sluggish, you could add a slice of fresh ginger to that, which is really great. And, adding black pepper to your food is another great one too. Now, of course, I'm giving these tips to add spices to your food. You could add cinnamon to your food, drinking cinnamon herbal tea, making sure that you're giving your body time to rest in between meals. But as you know, in Ayurveda, there's no one size fits all. So while I'm giving these general guidelines, like the lemon water is good for everybody, the fresh ginger is not too heating. However, if you're having heartburn or excessive loose stool, diarrhea, or acid reflux, the ginger might be a little bit too heating for you. And so then just have the lemon water. And the black pepper, it's good. Adding fresh black pepper is good digestive aid for your food. But again, if you're experiencing any of those excess heat or pitta symptoms, I'd advise you to lay off that a little. So what I do want to tell you about is I am going to be doing a group online New Year cleanse. It's a digestive reset cleanse, and this is starting January 19th, so it's coming up soon. Now, the big thing about this cleanse, which makes it unusual and great, is that it's individually tailored to you. So in this group online cleanse, I chat with each individual. So there's only a certain number of spaces. And what I do is I will make a appointment with you online. We can chat via Skype or FaceTime or by phone. And we will have a 90-minute consultation. I will find out your particular situation. We'll determine your constitution if you don't already know it, and see if you have a imbalance at this present moment. And then what I do is I gather all the information I need, and then I will tailor the cleanse to you. And what that means is I will tailor the recipes. You will use certain spices and certain foods depending on what your body needs. You will use certain yoga videos. I give you yoga videos. So depending on what you need, I will recommend a certain type of yoga video. And whether it's grounding or active or cooling, again, there's different types. I will recommend a meditation and breath work practice specific for you. And I may recommend other things that come up throughout our consultation. So I really like to connect with each person and tailor the cleanse to each person. Let me tell you a little bit about the cleanse. It's 3 weeks long, but you're not cleansing for 3 weeks. So don't worry about that. You're actually in the first week just preparing. So week 1 is a preparation where you are just making sure that the digestive system is working correctly. So I'll give you digestive teas to take because we want to make sure before we even start trying to eliminate toxins that we can flush them out. And also in week 1, we start eliminating gradually caffeine, refined sugars, and processed foods. And we do this gradually because you don't want to go from one day of drinking caffeine and the next day nothing, because that can lead to headaches and can lead to a lot of discomfort in the body. So by doing it gradually in week 1, you can ease into the cleanse in week 2, and it's a much more gentle process. So that's week 1 really. It's just about opening up the digestive channels, making sure that you're ready for elimination, and again, gradually eliminating the caffeine, the refined sugars, and the processed foods. Then in week 2, and I should note that in week 1, you continue eating as normal. I will give you advice on what to do, but you're not on this set food routine yet. But I will give you advice in your consultation on what you can and can't eat during that week and what to avoid. And I'll give you food lists and suggested meals for that week 1. Then in week 2, we have a menu of whole food meals, all natural, plant-based foods. So you're eating throughout this cleanse. There's definitely no starvation, and you're eating 3 meals a day. And if for some people it's maybe necessary to have some snacks. And again, that's all individually tailored. And like I said, the recipes will contain herbs and spices depending on what you need for your particular constitution or your imbalance at the present moment. And so for that week, you're eating a certain regime of food to help to bring your body back into balance, and also to help eliminate the fat-soluble toxins from the fat cells. They're the stubborn ones. So it's true we are detoxing daily with the water-soluble toxins getting eliminated through our sweat and our urine. However, the fat-soluble toxins are the stubborn ones that are stuck in the fat cells, and these are the ones that we're going after in this deep cellular cleanse. So we want to pull those fat-soluble toxins, and they can be physical toxins, but also emotional toxins, undigested things that may have happened to us in our life may also be trapped there. So we're taking those fat-soluble toxins from the cells and bringing them to the GI tract, the gastrointestinal tract, for elimination. So that's what we do in week 2. And then, like I said, it's all natural approach to healing, all whole food recipes. You'll be given the recipes and you will cook in batches to make it nice and easy for you. So then once we have eliminated those toxins from the body, what's really important to do in week 3 is rejuvenation. Now, a lot of cleanses leave us just after we've cleansed, but actually your body is very depleted post-cleanse. So in this Ayurvedic cleanse, we have a whole week of rejuvenation where we're building back up a strong foundation of cells and tissues so that you're really taking care of your body post-cleanse and really giving it a good start by introducing lots of different types of food and really giving yourself a great, strong foundation for going forward. So this is the cleanse. Along with the cleanse comes access to a private page on my website where you will have a detailed weekly webinar explaining what you're doing during the cleanse, all the instructions, why you're doing it, the reasons why we're taking certain foods, and what it's going to do for your body. So there's lots of information in there, along with recipes, like I said, yoga videos and meditation tutorials, breathwork tutorials. So it's a holistic cleanse and lots of other things available in that private website page. So it's important to know that you're well supported throughout this holistic cleanse. I'm right there with you. And this one that we're starting on January 19th is a group cleanse. So like I said, there's limited space. If you're interested, I highly recommend you hop online. I'll put the link in the show notes here and book your space. When you book your space, when you reserve your space, you can also book your 90-minute consultation. You can choose a day and time that works for you, and we can get ready to prepare you for the cleanse. If you have questions, take advantage of my 30-minute discovery call if you have further questions about the cleanse, and we can talk further there. And if you have questions, whether it's right for you or any general questions, don't hesitate to contact me. So I'll put all those links in the show notes. In fact, I'm going to share one testimonial that I just received, and I want to share it with you because this is a client who went through a private cleanse. So I do the cleanse, obviously, outside of the group formats that I do a couple of times a year. We can do them privately as well. And she says, towards the end of this past summer, I started feeling worse and worse. Not actually sick, but lethargic and unmotivated. Weight gain was a problem, yet I had no appetite. My Western doctor didn't have any ideas or suggestions. My daughter suggested I contact Colette and find out about Ayurveda from her. Thank goodness I did. A consultation with Colette led to a 3-week cleanse specialized for my dosha. The cleanse was not the starvation type cleanses I'd heard about, but it did teach me about new foods to eat and new dishes to create in the kitchen. During and after the cleanse, I also followed some lifestyle modifications that supported my new dietary habits. I am now in a great state of well-being, and if anything comes up that upsets my digestion or feeling of well-being, I know I can revert to the cleanse diet for a couple of days until everything settles down. I highly recommend Ayurveda to bring about one's sense of well-being and good health. In particular, Colette is an excellent counselor. She is responsive to questions and comments and is unfailingly supportive. So you can see I do provide great support, but also what's different about this is that you're really getting an education. You're learning about your unique mind-body type. So once you've gone through the consult and the cleanse, you will really have a good understanding of how to keep your body in balance. So if you're ready to start 2018 feeling light and clear and focused, come join us on this reduced price group cleanse. I'll put all the links in the show notes where you can register and book your consultation. I look forward to supporting you through your cleanse. So now, as promised, I also want to talk about exercise today, because this is a time of year when we're thinking about our exercise regime, of course, part of our healthy health and well-being plan. And, the gym memberships are going up and people are trying to decide, well, what sort of exercise is for me? And it's important to note that there's no one size fits all, that each dosha should really look towards different exercise regimes. So let's get into it. Now, as I said, I have been in the health and fitness industry since my late 20s. So many years of experience in this industry. And this is how I got into trouble with my health, was by over-exercising. I talk about this in the Healing in Body episode of the podcast. But just in brief, I was at that stage living in France, and I had a health and fitness studio, a yoga studio, and I was teaching classes. I had personal training clients, and I was doing my own training. I was training for the Ironman and other marathons and cycling events. So I was constantly exercising, thinking I was doing great. And unfortunately, I wasn't, because I was pushing my body to the extreme. And then along with that, I wasn't eating the right foods for my body type. So I ended up suffering from irritable bowel and having severe lethargy and just not feeling 100%. So there was many effects on my body, both physically and mentally, due to this overexertion. And unfortunately, in our culture today, it is quite obsessed with this pushing of exercise, with these real intense workouts. And like I said, I used to do it, but I've learned my lesson. And then I went on my cleanse in Bali, and that changed everything for me when I learned about Ayurveda and what I should and shouldn't be doing for my body. And thankfully now I've found more balance. But yes, we still have this concept of really a glorification of pain in our fitness, and that if you're not working out really hard, well, then it's not right. And we really want to put our body under stress, and that exhaustion is a status symbol in our culture, and we've become almost obsessed with aggression in our lives and in our workouts. So this is what I want to talk about today, that pushing your body to extreme is not the way to go with your exercise program. And being exhausted is not a sign of success. That you really need to tune in and understand your body type and understand what your body needs, and not just following the latest fads or trends of these extreme workouts, which are really going to put your body under extreme pressure and fatigue, and it's going to result in imbalances and problems along the way. So, of course, we know the benefits of physical activity, right? This strengthens the body, increases stamina, our body becomes toned and increase our endurance. It can also help to improve our digestion, reduce fast and fatigue and lethargy when done right. And it can reduce stress and strengthen the immune system. And it also increases our internal heat as we're exercising, open up the channels and removing blockages from the body, so it can help with our digestion and then with our elimination. But this is when it's done right. And this is what I want to really make sure that you understand, that the all-out intense workouts where you end up in complete exhaustion at the end is not necessarily good for your body. And of course, we're living in a culture today where we're seeing a lot of these extreme sports. Now we have not only Ironman, but ultras and just, it seems like these races and these endurance events are getting longer and longer and more intense. And it's just putting a lot of pressure on our body. So Ayurveda does give us guidelines for exercise, and Ayurveda says to exercise in moderation, to do an activity you enjoy. I really believe that. There's no point in running on the treadmill if you're there saying, oh my God, this is torture. I really don't like this. You got to find something you enjoy. And it's important not to strain beyond your capacity. And you want to make sure that you don't exercise when you're feeling weak, when you're physically sick, or right after a meal. So they're the general guidelines for your exercise routine from Ayurveda. But what we want to talk about today is, is your exercise routine serving you? So, we want to look at each dosha type now. So let's start with Vata. So we know that Vata is naturally enthusiastic, and they have bursts of energy and tend to do things very quickly. So what we want to do for Vata workout is to plan your workouts and make sure that you do not overschedule and really stick to a routine. So we know that Vata is made up of space and air, so there's a lot of movement, and Vatas tend to constantly be moving and running around. We want to bring in the opposites. Vata also, constitution types also tend to have a light body weight. And what's really good for Vata constitution is grounding exercises like yoga, tai chi, or walking barefoot on the beach. These are very grounding for Vata. So on a day that, in particular, when you're feeling like you're just spinning out of control and you can't focus, doing something like a restorative or a yin yoga or a slow flow yoga practice is really great. For Vata, you really want to make sure that you're doing a yoga practice where the instructor is really talking about alignment and talking about the alignment of your hands and feet, because sometimes coordination can be challenging for a Vata person. And just by focusing on alignment, Pilates is another great exercise for Vata, because there's so much intricate instruction in Pilates that it's really bringing you into your body and connecting with the muscles. And this is really important because, again, when we think about Vata as space and air, and it's it's very much in the mind, and the mind is always going, to bring yourself into your body and connect with your body through yoga, through tai chi, or through Pilates, or, like I said, walking barefoot, to really ground. This can be very soothing for Vata. So choosing classes where there's a lot of instruction. Another yoga class which is good is Iyengar, because there's a lot of alignment instruction. And again, you want slow yoga classes, a lot of instruction, and really focusing on your form, because, as I mentioned, sometimes coordination can be challenging. So if you're in a warrior posture, for example, in yoga, and you're feeling unsteady, put a knee on the ground or put a hand on the ground and take those alignment cues from the instructor, and finding an instructor that gives a lot of alignment cues, and feeling the muscles hugging to your bones, and really focusing during the class on just connecting into your body. That is fantastic for the Vata dosha. And also just doing things like the working on your strength and your balance and your agility. So working on strength with strength training. The weights training can be excellent for Vata constitution. And again, it's bringing the awareness to the body and the muscles. So doing slow focus weight training. And again, you don't want, the reason I say slow is because you don't want anything that's too fast or rushed. You want things that are slow, methodical, with a lot of alignment cues. So choosing a class where an instructor gives you a lot of alignment cues, talking about connecting to your core, making sure you're doing the exercises correctly with the right form. That is really great. So I would suggest weight training and also working on balance. And that can be done in a yoga class where you're working on balance postures. Again, very good for Vata to connect into the body and to work on really grounding and connecting to the muscles to support you in that balance. So this is really great. Of course, cardio is important, but you don't want to make sure it's intense cardio. So even just going for a walk on the beach barefoot, as I mentioned, or going on, if you're in the gym, the machines at the gym, but make sure it's just not too intense so that when you get off, you're not feeling lightheaded and dizzy, okay? Because remember, you have short bursts of energy, so you don't want to really do an intense workout and then have no energy left for your day. Plan your workouts, get into a routine, and if you're noticed, if you are out of balance, or you can be prone to get carried away and pushing yourself too hard. So if you're feeling dizzy or exhausted or on the verge of cramping, they're all signs that you're imbalanced. So just really tuning into the body. Okay, so that's my tips for the Vata dosha. The next one we're going to look at is Pitta. Now, Pitta types have a strong drive, as we know, tend to be very competitive and love challenging sport because of their competitive nature. However, it's better for Pitta person to do less competition because the intense competitive edge of sports can really push Pitta out of balance. And that's what happened to me for a long time. So it's really best to do more activities for enjoyment. Let go of that competitive edge in sports, because that can really make that heat rise in your body and cause a lot of problems physically and mentally, and cause a lot of anger and agitation and a lot of emotional upset. And go more for moderate exercise. So instead of, going to the gym or going out and running or whatever cardio you're doing and really pushing to exhaustion, instead, enjoy the environment you're in. Maybe go running with friends so it's more relaxed pace, or if you're biking, less competition and more just going for the enjoyment of it. You're still getting the exercise, you're still getting the benefits, but you're not getting into that competitive mode. So rather than pushing to extreme, see how you can include things to, just for enjoyment sometimes. Not everything has to have a purpose. So swimming is great because we want to make sure, particularly in the warmer months, is that you're exercising Pitta in the cooler times of day. So working out in the morning or in the evening before 7 p.m. Is important because we want to make sure that you don't overheat. Definitely not exercising in the middle of the day when it's really hot. That's really going to send you out of balance. And try to keep things in moderation. That's the key for you, and keep things in balance. And the more that you can do group activities or classes and have some fun while doing it, I would highly recommend that, so that you're not just out there by yourself pushing all the time. That you're just remembering that, it's, especially if you're not doing it as an athlete and you don't have to train for a particular event, that there's no need to be pushing yourself that much. Just do it for enjoyment. That's what it should be about. And balancing your workout so that it's not all just cardio and weights, but make sure that you're getting some yoga in there as well to balance your workouts. So I would suggest for Pitta, a slow flow class, staying away from the heated, intense focused, competitive yoga, because that will certainly send you out of balance, and avoiding those heated, warm rooms, because that's just going to aggravate your pitta. So making sure that you're not thinking of yoga as your workout, but it's your balance, it's your release, it's your time to go inward and to restore and be calm. So making sure, like I said, that you're getting that balance with your workouts and choosing some downtime in between so that every day is not go, go, go. So that's my suggestions for pitta. I did say to exercise before 7 p.m. and that's for everybody actually. It's ideal time to work out, and I cover this in the circadian rhythm episode, is to work out between 6 and 10 a.m. in the morning, because that's when the kapha energy is high in the environment, and that kapha heavy energy really supports our workouts. So from 6 to 10 a.m. is ideal time. If you can't work out at that time, working out in the evening but before 7 p.m. Sometimes, if you, particularly for Vata, if you work out after 7 p.m., it can cause too much excitement and too much energy in the body, and you may be affected for your sleep. So you may have a hard time getting to sleep after that. So a general rule of thumb is to work out before 7 p.m. Check out the episode on the circadian rhythms if you want more information on those hours of the day. Okay, so let's now move on to kapha. So kapha is made up, we know, of the energy of water and earth, and it tends to be a heavier energy. So kapha, friends, can get up and get out there moving, and they're less likely to overexert themselves, because they actually sometimes have a hard time motivating themselves. So what's good for you is maybe to have a pitta or vata friend to motivate you and to get you up and out, and choose exercises that are enjoyable to you, that you're going to look forward to. Group formats are great because you will get to be energized by the group. And also choosing a variety of things, not getting into the same old routine. Sometimes kaphas can do the same old. So making sure that you're choosing exercises that are different. And you have great endurance. So once you get up and moving, it can be challenging to start moving, but once you do, you have really tremendous endurance. And what I would highly recommend for the kapha dosha is to include intervals and exercise to build up a sweat. So really exercise to that point where you're perspiring, because we want you to start moving that body and moving the lymph and moving the circulatory system and getting that sweat going. So intervals are great for you. Doing exercise in the morning, like I said, or in the evening before 7. You want to do things like bicycling or jogging or dancing, brisk walking, making sure that it's not so much steady state training, but constantly up and down. Like I said, interval work is the key. So when choosing a yoga class, kapha body types really want something that's more flowing. So you can use a class that has a more flow style practice, constant movement. In fact, doing it in a warm room is good for kapha because it gets that sweat coming through the pores, and it gets the blood circulating, the heart pumping, and the lymph moving, which is what we want, because the lymph can tend to get stagnant for kapha and lead to that stagnation and that congestion. So warm yoga is great, flowing yoga is great, and for kapha, staying away from the more slow moving practices or the yin or the restorative, and doing more active yoga. So that's really great for you. And that's really the overall advice I would give to kapha, making sure that you're doing activities that are varied and that keep your body moving. So I hope that gives you a good sense of what's best for each dosha type. Remember, vata, just to summarize, vata, you want grounding because you're always moving and always buzzing about. We want to ground. So more calming exercise, more exercise where you're getting in touch with your body, some grounding yoga, Iyengar yoga, yoga with lots of alignment cues, Pilates, Tai Chi. If you're doing cardio and you're exercising, just make sure that you can speak in a full sentence. You don't want to go over exerting yourself. For Pitta, more moderation, less competition, more enjoyment. You can do a mix of cardio and weights is great for you, but making sure that you're having more fun doing it. And again, working out at a pace where you can talk in, full sentence or short phrase is fine, but for anybody, never get into that point where you're really out of breath and you can only talk in words. That's not really good for the body. It's too much. And then for Kapha, you can really push it because we want to get your body moving. We want to get that lymph moving, the blood circulating, and you building up a sweat. So making sure that you're doing intervals, you can really push yourself, get encouragement from friends, and, make appointments to get out there and do lots of different types of activity. So I hope that helps, shed some light on what types of activity are good for each dosha. And again, if you want to talk with me about this, take advantage of my 30-minute free discovery call and I can give you advice about your fitness regime. It's really important to do something that is best for your body type, because if you're doing a fitness routine that's not good for your body type, it can cause an imbalance and cause lots of problems, both physically and mentally, like I mentioned earlier. So that's my New Year health and wellness tips for this year. Don't forget the group cleanse starts on January 19th. So if you're interested at this reduced rate, please come along and click on the link in the show notes and we can set up your consultation, and then I can tailor the cleanse to you and we can get you off on the right foot for 2018 and feeling light and clear and balanced and educated about how to keep yourself in balance. Also, don't forget to check out the free download that comes with this episode. I give you the top 10 digestive tips from Ayurveda and also a reminder of the best exercises and yoga to choose for your dosha. You can just click on the link in the show notes or head over to my website, Elements Healing and Wellbeing, and go to the events tab. You'll see the freebies section there for your download. So thanks for tuning in. Take good care of yourself, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Take care.